The Rush, sponsored by State Farm.
Welcome to another episode of The Rush. As always, I'm Danny Fry. On this week's edition of The Rush, we bring you baseball highlights, both home and away versus SHG, the softball thriller against the Lady Cyclones on the road, and Capital City lacrosse highlights versus Champaign. Of course, we have a whole lot more, but right now, let's get the show started. And Titans third baseman Max Squibb joins The Rush as a guest anchor to go over this crazy week of baseball here against SHG. So Mac, SHG entered when you guys played SHG over on the road on their turf field, Comstock Field at 9-2. What were you guys expecting them? You guys entered the game at 6-3.
They're a tough team year in, year out. They beat us once last year. We came back and won the second game last year, so we knew they'd be good. They were returning a lot of kids, and David Jacobs, the Conference Player of the Year last year, so we knew they're going to be good competition. He would pitch at South Park, but let's take a look at the highlight on the road against SHG. And Brian Hobby was the starter, Titans ace. His spots just weren't quite working as they're an RBI knock for David Jacob. RBI single knocks in 2 runs for the Cyclones. It was 4-1 SHG after 1 as the onslaughts of hits just came coming. Hobby just wasn't quite hitting his spots. Yeah, he just didn't quite have it going today. The strike zone was small. He was leaving a lot of balls up, but it happens. And it's our job as a team to help him out, and we didn't quite do that. This off the bat of Nolan A. Heron, and that drives in 2 runs, and then here's Hobby. You guys, in the third inning, you guys were down 6-1, but started to come back. Hobby there with a double, and that would score Roman Ballinger, and then you would come up here right after scoring the courtesy runner Tyler Brown to make it 6-3 entering the bottom of the third. So I had a little offense there. Yeah, Etheridge was throwing really well, but we got to him here in this inning. Me and Hobby both hitting pretty well. Yeah, Connor Etheridge, after this game, will move to 3-1 on the season, the SHG starter. But then after this, Hobby's control, it wasn't just, they were just hitting him earlier. This time he lost control, goes up and plunks Corey Mason there. That leads, or Ryan Elvers rather, and that leads to a run. And then here, David Jacobs single. That's going to score 2 SHG runs, and that makes it 10-3, SHG on top. Hobby went 3 3/3. Titans fall to SHG 13-3. Connor White 5 for 5 in this one for SHG, 2 RBIs. And man, he was tough to go up against. Yeah, Connor White. A tough loss. He hit the ball really well, and it surprised me. He had a bunt single in the first inning, and then he just swung the bat really well. What were you guys thinking after this game? Heading in? We knew we had to focus. That was the one thing that I think we were missing in the first game. We weren't quite focused. The weather might have been a factor, but the fact that we weren't quite focused when the game started and we weren't ready to play, and that really hurt us against good competition. Titans ended up losing in 6 innings. Their 10-run rule, and that hasn't happened against SHG in a while, but you guys are trying to turn around and play at SHG. So let's take a look. How was it playing on that turf, though, first? The turf is always quick. They actually fixed the field this year. It used to have a gold and the ball was disguised. Yeah, it blended in really well, and it made it difficult. Now, how difficult was it for you at third base at the hot corner already with the turf added down? The turf, and then on top of that with the rain, the ball really skipped and it got on you really, really quick. It made things difficult, and the ball doesn't quite bounce the same way off of turf as it does on dirt. Now, the Titans look to bounce back at home against SHG. So let's take a look at the highlights against South Park against the Cyclones. And do you guys even think you're going to play a game here at South Park? Bob Erickson, the groundskeeper, a miracle worker, and so was Connor A. Heron right off the bat. Did a great job. But here, this double, this off the bat, Mitch Trees ends up sliding into third safely off a double from David Jacobs. So some problems here, second and third, but A. Heron gets out of it, as there were no runners at all through 3 innings for SHG. but then they were able to, he was able to settle down. SHG's able to score the first run here, though, in the 5th inning. Michael Gabauer, a little bobble, but he's able to hang with it and get the out at first.
Yeah, Michael hasn't been playing first too much. He's had a couple games off, so I guess that it's excusable, but we really should have had that play, but that's okay. Connor worked out of it and kept pitching well.
You reach on an error there, and that was big. You would end up coming around because of Michael Gabauer here, and this is in the 5th inning. Titans take a 2-1 lead when Nick Maton is just barely safe. 2-1 after 5, Titans ahead.
Yeah, like I said, Michael hasn't been playing a lot, and it's good to see him swinging the bat well when he joins in.
Yeah, he played at first base, coach like that. And then Dre Cup here, air though, which would be key. Atterbury ends up going to second. Brian Hobby, this is a game tied 2-2 in the 6th inning. And then you come up here right underneath the glove. What was going through your mind when that ball went up the middle?
David was throwing a lot of strikes, and I knew that I'd get a pitch to hit, and I was just looking to hit something hard. Got a pitch low down the middle and just drove it back up the middle.
At the very end here, though, Connor Heron able to, that guy gave you guys a 3-2 lead. Connor Heron able to hang on, goes the distance, 7 innings. Titans win 3-2 here at home. 6 hits for SHG, 4 hits for the Titans. Connor Heron went 7 innings. Let's get some post-game sound.
It's just one game. That's one thing I said, and we'll see what you're made of tomorrow night. And you know, I think they did that. They came out and they played very aggressive. We got some not a lot of hits, but we got some clutch hits and ran the bases well, made plays when we had to, and of course got the great pitching.
Just keep my head and not let them over there in the dugout get into my head and just do my thing.
Made a couple plays tonight, and even when Michael bobbled the ball a little bit where we could have come home, at least he kept his head and got an out in that situation with, I think the Jacob kid was coming up next. So if we let that runner on, they might be in for a big inning. But he kept his head, got an out, kept us out of a big inning, and you know, it was a great effort for us.
Oh, a win's a win, but against SHG it feels way better.
Now, obviously a big win for you guys, but how big of a win was it in the conference race against SHG?
It's a huge win. After losing the first game, they gave us 2 losses, and we had 2 losses along with SHG, Taylorville, and Jacksonville, I believe. So we kind of control our own destiny, and coming back and getting the victory so that now, as long as we win, we have at least a share of the conference championship.
Defense has been an issue all year round for you guys, but no errors in that contest, and that really helped you guys. And then only had 4 hits in that game, but they seem to be a lot of clutch hits, like Coach Moomey mentioned.
Yeah, we hit the ball really well. I thought we had really good approaches up at the plate, and we were swinging at good pitches. We came back from last night where I don't think we quite had the best at-bats, but we did well.
Yeah, and against SHG, you guys lost by 10 in 6 innings, as you mentioned. What were you guys trying to prove in this game?
We could prove that we could hang with any team. I think that when we play our best baseball and we have the pitching that we do, I think that we can hang with the best teams in the state.
Now, how much momentum do you think you guys will get after this win now at 8-4?
It's a lot. SHG obviously being our rival, the win is huge, and that it really brought us together as a team. And I think that the win will kind of boost our confidence and lead us into the next couple weeks.
All right, thanks, Mac, for coming on, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
The Titans are scheduled to host Morden tonight for a doubleheader, weather permitting, of course, at South Park starting at 4:30. Let's take our first commercial break of the show, and we'll be right back with softball highlights at SHG and Capital City lacrosse highlights from over the weekend. They're on the Fat Willie's in Chatham is a great family restaurant that supplies a wonderful dining experience. We offer outstanding fried chicken and over-the-top Walleye pizza. With quality products at affordable prices, Fat Willie's is the way to go. Open Monday through Saturday, 12 a.m. to midnight. Call us today at 217-483-6969.
Aaron, you're all set.
Great, thanks.
Mike, thanks for doing that discount double check. You saved us hundreds.
What was that?
The discount double check? It's when we comb through your policies to make sure that you're getting all the discounts you deserve.
No, I get that part, but you guys are doing my move.
The discount double check move?
It's my touchdown dance. So you're a dancer?
No, I'm a quarterback.
Oh, quarterback.
More.
I'm a robot.
Where's your finger?
Get out of here.
Get to a better state, State Farm.
Call Steve Bedford in Chatham for personal service and discounts that you deserve.
Kids, the breakfast is ready. Eat up. Your friend's gonna be here pretty soon.
I'll be there in a second.
Have a great day.
My friend's here, I'm leaving.
Be safe. Come home right after school.
All right, see ya.
Wow, your dads are really looking out for you.
That's not my dad. That's my family's financial advisor, Mr. Sullivan.
Sullivan Financial, looking out for your investments and your family.
Glenwood senior catcher Brooke Remenschneider is here to break down the softball team's heartbreaker at SHG and describe how the softball season is going so far. Brooke, thanks for coming on.
No problem. The softball season this year has been kind of up and down. It's been hard to get outside with this weather. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was snowing in the beginning. Now it's raining.
A lot of makeup games still on the way, too.
Oh, yeah. We have 4 conference games left, and next week is full of games. But we're just glad to be outside, and we're just eager to be playing.
And now you guys would play. Normally you guys wouldn't play on Tuesday at home, but they moved the game just like the baseball game directly after the baseball game at 6:30. You guys would play SHG on Tuesday. And before have a lot of history, not just your rival, but they've knocked you guys, beat you in the regional final the past 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
When you guys were favored.
Oh, yeah. The past 2 seasons, I think we overlooked it too much, but we've come back this year. We're thinking, play strong, follow what you know, do what you do as a team, and we'll be okay. If our hitting is gonna come, as long as you play good defense, we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay.
Hitting was definitely there, so let's take a look at the highlights of the softball game over at Comstock Field at West Campus. And you guys were able to get on base early, though, but weren't necessarily able to drive in runs early.
Yeah, it's a little rough. The atmosphere was very different to what we were used to, and
right there, little slip right there. That was Bree Edgar, by the way.
Yeah.
But you're able to get a run in here, though, on a RBI fielder's choice. It was 1-0 at that point. Bree Graham got the start, and SHG able to get a lot of her right there, knocks it off the wall.
Yeah, I think they're really used to this turf, and it just caught us off guard, and we were just unexpected how the ball was always wet, and it was really slick, and it was just a struggle.
It was, even for some of these. We guys had a 7-run 4th inning to make it 8-5. You guys were down 5-1, and here's an RBI double.
Yeah, our hitting's gonna come. As long as we play good defense, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah, defense had to come, and Allison Long came in. Score was 10-5 entering the 7th inning, and run scores there. That makes it 10-6. And then here, 10-8. That ball leaves the yard off the bat of Cassie Cuisin, and that made it 11-10. And what was going through your mind when that ball went in the air, right? What happened with that pitch?
Just a replay of the past 2 years. Just like the past 2 years, it's been hard to close them. And I think that's our biggest thing. As long as our pitchers throw well, they have to throw well at the end too, not just at the beginning, but at the end. And our hitting, we're going to score enough runs. I mean, 10 runs, we should have won that game, but it happens. It happens.
Up 10-5 entering the 7th inning.
But
and Allison Long came in after Bree Graham only went 3 2/3, and she did a great job up to that.
Yeah, she's been doing such a good job until that last inning. She just couldn't close that last inning, but she's done a great job for us, and she's going to be a surpriser at the end.
All right, and then the next day, you guys actually somehow grounds crew got the game ready at GHS for the Swing for Kaylee game against SHG after losing 11-10. Let's see how you guys performed Wednesday night. And end up 15-0, 10-run mercy rule. Madison Bandy looked great. 5 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts. Her sister Parker Bandy 3 hits, 4 runs batted in. So what does it mean on the Swing for Kaylee night? Obviously for Kaylee Wilmarth, all the proceeds going to help out Kaylee's crew. And how did it feel getting back at SHG, but also doing it during the great cause?
Oh, it was awesome. We knew we were on our field. Our field looked awesome for it being rained so much. So we just wanted to come out swinging hard, playing the game the right way. So we came out swinging, get runners on, and Maddie, this is the best I've seen her all year. So she really stepped up, and she really helped us get that win. And it's nothing better than 15 running rule SHG.
Yeah.
That's the best. So we did a really nice job yesterday, and so we did good.
Thanks, Brooke, and
Yep,
good luck catching the rest of the season. After getting revenge against SHG, the softball Titans' next conference game is Tuesday in Rochester against the Lady Rockets. Last Friday, the Titans' boys tennis team went to Rochester looking to win their 4th straight match in a row. Let's take a look and see how the Titans did. They won as a team 6-3. And that would mean their 4th match in a row. Everything clicking as they try to become back-to-back-to-back tennis champions in the CS8. The tennis team is now preparing for the Springfield Invite at Washington Park. That is Saturday as play begins at 8 a.m. There's a lot of physical movement and activity going on during the Glenwood Show Choir class. They practice hard every day and have competitions scattered around the year. Recently, the class pushed for a waiver for PE class. The Rush's Josh Camacho has more.
Not having a gym class helps students fill their schedule with study halls and other classes to help meet college requirements.
It's helped me a lot. This semester is the first study hall that I've had in high school, so I've filled up my schedule for like the past 4 years. So if I had to fit PE, I would have to give up a class every year.
Well, if I had to take PE and show choir, that would take out my study hall, which is quite important because I have a lot of after-school activities like musical, and it's very important to have my study hall.
Some students argue that their dance routines are harder than most gym classes.
I really don't think that it's necessary. I mean, from what I've heard from my friends that are in gym, the gym classes aren't necessarily strenuous, and in show choir we do dance every day, and we definitely get in our share of cardio activity.
Show choir is very, very, very labor intensive. We have marathon rehearsals during comp season. They're like 8 hours long. Start at like 7 in the morning, go to like 4 in the afternoon.
Show choir members believe the show choir builds just as much teamwork and leadership as any gym class.
Like build sort of a team environment.
Yeah, you definitely learn about a lot of leadership and working as a team and working together, and it's definitely building your endurance because we're singing and dancing at the same time for like 15 minutes straight for a comp show at least, and for other shows even longer than that.
For The Rush, I'm Josh Camacho.
The next show choir performance is Dessert Theater here at Glenwood on May 4th. Last Saturday at Centennial Park, the Capital City lacrosse team faced off with Champaign, a team that has eluded them in the past. It was a thriller, and welcoming Glenwood senior and Caplax member Ryan Martin. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So this was really a tough game against Champaign. They've beat you always narrowly last year.
Yeah, last year we played them our first weekend we've ever had an organized game of lacrosse, and it was our 3rd game that day, and we lost to them pretty bad, and it wasn't fun that day. And then that was the only time we played their varsity team last year. And this year we had a new coach out. He used to coach over at Champaign, so he's kind of looking to get this one for himself. And I think we got out and did it for him.
It was about as thrilling as it could get in a lacrosse game as well. Let's take a look at the highlights. Caplax versus Champaign. You guys had excellent ball movement, if you can say that, in lacrosse to start it out.
Yeah, it was. We like to pass it a lot, and right there, their leading attackman, number 7, scored his lefty goal.
Yeah, they had great ball movement to start out. You guys sort of had it more as the game went on.
Yeah, they went up pretty early. We kind of got in a slump. We didn't really think this game was going to go too well, and then Kyle Williamson right there dishes it off to Dylan, and that's just great ball movement. That's good lacrosse right there.
And that scored a goal, or early goal, but Champaign trying to get the game early lead back, though, as they're able to break down your defense.
Yeah, they dish it nice from behind the net there and got a guy in the crease, and nothing really can do for Kwamir there. His first game back this season after being out because of track purposes. Then Kyle comes over here and dives from GLE and scores one in the top corner.
Yeah.
And that's a play you don't see very often.
He's been really good this year.
It's
his first year playing.
It's his first year, and he's really shocking us all, and we like what he's doing. Nice little dish. Scored on Kwamir again. Nothing he can really do. And here comes Dylan. he dishes it off to Sam, and Sam takes a long shot from outside and gets it to the 5-hole goalie.
Able to get that, and how difficult is that shot right there?
That's a hard shot. I mean, he had a pretty nice lane there, nice pass by Dylan, and it was right through the money spot.
On to the fourth quarter, and here comes senior Quinn Speaks. He's finally, out of the cage. Look at this spin move, and he scores.
Yeah, that was nice. It's his first game in the field because Kwamir's back finally, and I think he was pretty excited to get a stick with a little smaller net in his hand.
You would have a huge goal here going down low to tie the game up at 10 in the fourth.
Yeah, it was that got me really excited. As you can see, tied the game up. We thought we were going to lose this game, and we finally got back into it. And here comes Vic, and he just rips a shot from the side, and he gets low, and that gave us the lead right there.
11-10.
That got us really excited. It got us super jacked.
10 seconds left in the game. Champaign finds a hole in the defense, and they're able to put one past Quams and send this one into overtime at 11.
Yeah, that was hard. We were trying to stall and get the game over with, but we had to keep it in the attack box, and it just didn't work out for us.
Into overtime. Golden goal. Kyle Williamson finds Miles McAdams. Game over.
He had a hat trick that game, 3 goals. That was his best game of the year so far for sure. He was really feeling his stick that game, and he just put that one in the back of the net for the win.
McAdams had 3 goals. Victor Hoffman with 3 goals as well. 12-11 win over Champaign for Caplax. And we talked about with the softball teams is how big of a win was. Well, in these Central Illinois lacrosse standings, how big was that win? You guys are still undefeated, correct?
That was probably the biggest win our program's seen in the past 2 years. They won the championship last year, and we came out, and everybody's saying that the teams we beat weren't very good competition. That shows you that we're in here, we're undefeated, and we're here to take the conference.
Now you guys have 2 more games up at Saturday at Centennial Park.
Yeah, I think we're actually traveling to Belleville. Hopefully,
to Belleville.
Into Belleville this weekend. Hopefully, we can get the games in with the weather permitting. And I think we're going to play Belleville and Morton, and hopefully we can get 2 more wins out of this weekend.
What times are those games?
I couldn't tell you. whenever the ref blows the whistle.
All right, we'll see when the ref blows the whistle over there in Belleville. Ryan, thanks for coming on. Great start to the Caplax season.
Thanks for having me again.
Caplax back in action over in Belleville against Morton and Belleville. So right now, let's take our last commercial break of the day, and we'll be right back with the weekly debate with the Rush's Gavin Caruso and Bus Berkelow's bracket champion, Mr. Bachowski. Welcome back on set here as we have the winner of Bus Berkelow's bracket, Mr. Pachowski, with a score of 121. Gavin Caruso, one of his students in algebra, and Gavin was also in the tournament. Didn't fare as well as Mr. Pachowski, so Mr. P, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And Gavin, you're here.
I'm here.
Gavin, also a whiz directing our live sports and filming, but sports knowledge, we'll test that out right here with the debate. But first, let's turn to Mr. Pachowski. What was the key to your winning your bracket? Was it some luck, skill, or just greatness, as you mentioned before?
You know, when you participate at such a high level as Glenwood High School athletics, and especially Glenwood High School fantasy sports, it's important to understand that you're just, you're just the cream of the crop. You know, I mean, everyone else is down here, other schools, and I don't know, the best rise to the top, I like to think, and that's where it kind of came from with all my talent on that one.
There's a lot of shuffling in the standings. Ben Lex was up there for a while, Lucas Fain, Ben Lex a junior, Lucas Fain a senior, and then you were always in the hunt, always around the top 10, and swooped in right at the end. You had Louisville win.
You know, it's consistency. That's what separates the average from the champions, is really the consistency, I think.
Okay, so now let's get the debate going here. We'll start with, you're an assistant wrestling coach here, and the International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, voted to cut wrestling from the 2020 Olympics, and that's one of the oldest Olympic sports, but why or why not? I know what you're going to argue for, but wrestling still should be an Olympic sport. What's your take on it, Mr. Pete?
Well, you know, I think it's pretty easy why it's so important. Right now, since 1999, there have been 95 NCAA Division I programs added, 21 women's programs added, 40,000 additional high school students are now participating in the sport. And you know, the IOC originally said there's because there was just a lack of participation and that other sports kind of fit the mold better. And I just don't think that's true. And I think the more and more we learn about the situation, that we're learning that it's more of a miscommunication between FILA, Olympic Wrestling's national group, and the Olympic Committee. So that's where it's really at.
And Gavin, we covered some wrestling meets here, and competition in the CS8 locally has been really well, especially with us going to state here at GHS. Gavin, what do you think?
I do agree with you that it is one of the oldest sports in Olympic sports, but some people today find it as a little bit boring. But how is a sport like curling exciting? It's really hard to see how wrestling and how much more action wrestling has. But ultimately,
water polo, all those other sports you're thinking about exciting.
I mean, it doesn't seem as exciting as wrestling, and I think wrestling would have a bigger audience.
There definitely is a vibe covering wrestling meets, announcing wrestling meets. There definitely is a vibe once you get there, and how we have it set up when you wrestle underneath the spotlight with the music. It's really exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one of the ways that the wrestling community is going to go forward from here. You know, we talked about, you know, someone who said about water polo and other sports. It's not about showing how other sports don't belong there and we do. It's just, you know, do it by the numbers, do it by how much money we revenue every year. Tickets are sold out at every Olympic wrestling event.
Even for high school wrestling, when they have it at U of I, at state
championships, the NCAA championships are sold out every year. You know, it's something that is in part, whether you're from Japan, you're from Russia, you're from Ukraine, everyone kind of gets involved in that sport, and that's the great thing about it. I've met people all over the world and traveled the world for that sport, and I think it just, you know, it's not a matter of why it's better than others. It'll just kind of come out.
Now, Mr. P, obviously a big wrestling fan, wrestling coach here, but you're also a big Cubs fan.
It's true.
Gavin and I are both Cardinals fans.
No one's perfect. It's all right, buddy. Don't worry.
I'll say 1908, but would you be happy if the Cubs, they're talking about possibly building a new ballpark. They have to keep Wrigley Field because of a deal that they have that is a historic landmark, as I believe it should be, coming from a Cardinals fan, all the history coming from Wrigley Field. But do you think they should still play in the facilities, or sort of dropping a little bit, or build a new place possibly in the suburbs around, like we believe Rosemont?
Well, first let me say, like, I agree that the importance of the ballpark, and as Cardinal fans, you know, you guys get a new park every 2 years, it seems like. So I know you're not used to that tradition. That tradition isn't there, and you know, you can't go where
new in 06, and before that was in the 60s.
Yeah,
all right.
That's still pretty darn tootin'. So, you know, but unless we're the double raise. But basically, you know, so I think the important thing is that not only the integrity of Wrigley Field is kept, but also the tradition behind it. You know, it's on the north side of Chicago. It's part of the Chicagoland community. And putting it in Rosemont or the Schaumburg area right near O'Hare, although I think that would, I mean, there's definitely a lot of land out there to do that with. I do think you would lose a little bit of the tradition and just the camaraderie that all Cubs fan has. Yeah, it's not the best park in the world to, you know, I've been to a lot of different places, and it's not the best place to see a game. So the thing is,
random pulls in front while you're sitting,
hey,
but
it
it's just
happens.
nostalgia.
But that's where else can you go besides Fenway and see how it was played back then? You used to have Comiskey, and although I'm not a Sox fan by any stretch of the imagination,
now they got the Cell.
Now they have the Cell, which I still call it Comiskey. But there's not enough tradition in the world today.
Not even build on that.
If you can keep that, I think that's where it's really important. So I would be maybe do something like they did with the Bears, where they moved for a year, refurbished, came back from there.
Played at U of I that 1 year.
Yeah, play U of I. I would support something like that, and then really kind of get into it, because I agree there are so many problems that you can't just do a couple fixes and put like a new scoreboard in here or there to make that real difference.
All right, Gavin.
Well,
let's get a Cardinals fan's perspective.
Big Cards fan here, but Wrigley, I see is kind of turning into a dump. I've been there a couple years back, and it's not the nicest place on the block, but it still is. It's part of Chicago. It's a tourist attraction. But if they built a ballpark in a place like Rosemount, it would draw fans more of the quality of the park, the new. Rather than the attraction of it and the old style of it like Wrigley is today.
There would still be some diehard fans, though, that don't think you should play anywhere else.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we sell out every year for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, Comiskey can't do
how
that.
the teams have been.
Look at the White Sox. They can't even give away their tickets in Happy Meals at McDonald's. The Cardinals, well, enough said about that. But that's kind of one of those things that you're always going to sell tickets. So it's not even a matter of tickets. I think, from what I've heard and kind of the word on the street in Chicagoland area, because I'm still from there, is it's all about getting rid of the curse and seeing if we can have a fresh start under Theo and seeing if we can go from there. We're very superstitious people, we're a superstitious bunch.
Yeah. Hoping for it. All right, well, thanks for coming on again. Congrats, you win a $25 gift card to Taco Bell for winning Bus Burklow's bracket. You made yourself a nice little certificate
I just wanted to show you my certificate right here.
Let's
NCAA bracket champion. It speaks of, after tireless hours and devotion to the sport of watching sports, Mr. Pachalski has been awarded the rank of greatest fantasy sports analyst of all time. You notice here we got a wonderful picture of David Hasselhoff doing some bicep curls.
Because that's what you were thinking of when you filled out your bracket.
If I was to, identify with a famous actor or character, I think it would be David Hasselhoff.
Right.
Well, with that in mind, that's it. Thanks for coming on, Mr. Pachalski and Gavin, giving your sports point of view. That's all we have for this episode of The Rush. Make sure to check out the boys baseball doubleheader at Morden tonight, and also the girls team has a soccer game. Girls soccer team plays tonight at 4:30. That's it. We're out of here.